Well, let's see. After being a former police officer,
Okay.
federal agent,
All right.
candidate for Congress,
What?
famous podcaster,
What?
now you can add to the list former deputy director of the FBI. Guess who's back on the air?
Well.
Dan Bongino.
Who?
I'm Jazz Borganzo on this, but which Dan are we going to get?
Uh-oh.
Are we going to get the no-nonsense ass kicker who's got your back? Or are we going to get the pansy ass,
Hold up.
deer in the headlights guy
Wait a minute.
that we saw with Epstein?
What the fuck?
But it's what's next. What's up, everyone? Jazz Borganzo, what's next? Your daily dose, common sense, facts, and salt. Hope you guys are feeling good today on this Thursday. And guess who's back? Yes, back again. No, not shady. I'll give you a few hints. He was a former police officer, former FBI agent, Secret Service, former candidate for Senate, former podcaster, and now former deputy director of the FBI. Well, if you guessed Dandy Dan Bongino, you would be absolutely correct. But like I said in my intro, which Dan are we going to get? Are we going to get the Dan Bongino who was on the air, taking no shit, taking no names, no prisoners, I've got your back, I'll kick ass for you, kick down doors, burn houses down, do what I need to do to basically protect you and to warn you? Or are we going to get the Dan Bongino that sat with Kash Patel in that infamous interview where he looked like a deer in the headlights, he looked like a mugshot, he looked like he just got arrested when they talked about Epstein and nothing came of it? Which one are we going to get? But I'm going to do something different here. I'm not going to go to a story. I'm going to go right to my phone. Right here. Right here. And I'm going to play a couple of clips of Dan talking about coming back to the show and what actually went on during his year in the FBI. And here we go.
Definitely coming back.
When?
Early February. We will release the date. Yes, thank you guys in the chat. We will put out a press release with Westwood One and Rumble this coming Monday. So just a few days from now, which will provide the date. It's going to be early February. And we're going to be ready to roll. That first show, usually we would put together the show night before, morning up. You know, it's like at Fox. As that first show, I got a lot of stuff. It's on my phone, folks.
Weeks ahead of time.
I took so many notes. I mean, obviously, I can't talk about classified stuff or, you know, that kind of thing. But there's a lot of stuff we can talk about and provide context and color and, you know, crush a lot of the black pill bullshit out there. You know, nothing's happening and all that stuff. So, yeah, exactly. I went there to jerk around for it's so luxurious in Washington, D.C. So there's a lot of stuff to talk about that I think is going to open a lot of eyes. And a lot of ignoramuses are going to get shut down. We'll be 2 hours now, though. So 2 hours live, 10 to 12, 10 a.m. To 12 noon, obviously. And we are ready to roll. I mean, I've got so much content bottled up in my head. So the show's definitely coming back.
When?
When I come back, if it's going to be, you know, endless complaining, then just don't watch. The show's, it's okay. Like, this is a constitutional republic. You're not obligated to listen to my show. The thing about black pillars, where everything sucks all the time, is like, well, we're demanding accountability. Great, so am I. If you're endlessly complaining about things you don't know anything about, that's all you do. Like,
Accountability.
10 people
What a concept.
Zero. Okay, well, can you just acknowledge going from 1 million to 10 is a big deal? There's a cost to that. You can't let this negative vibe constantly set in. That doesn't mean healthy debates about policy are not welcome. Debating policies are fine, but the black pill complaining and whining all the time about the administration, it's just like, man, what team are you on? You don't have to watch. It's okay. There's a door. You know, go find the freaking exits. I don't really give a shit. I'm not here for anybody's money or anything like that. I'm too old for that shit. When I come back, if it's going to be, you know, I really found that there were two FBIs. There's the guys out there with the door kickers going out there getting bank robbers, working white collar, working violent crimes, working counterterror, working counter espionage. And then there was the politically weaponized group, and they had to go. You're like, okay, well, that's easy. Well, the problem is who's in what group? They don't come out and tell you. No one comes out and advertise. It's like, hey, I was part of this. Cash and I did investigate it, say a problem, find the perpetrators involved, and take action. And it's sounds like a simple battle plan, but it's not as easy as you thought.
Do you feel comfortable stepping away and knowing that it's good?
Well, I wouldn't say anything's ever good in that human beings are incorruptible. They are. There has to be mechanisms in government. Am I comfortable that Cash and I did everything we could in the past year to create institutional safeguards against things happening again anytime soon? Yes.
Well,
Leadership in there later that can obviously change it.
I don't know if you can answer this question, but how many people did you fire?
There were a lot of personnel changes. I'll leave it at that. A lot. Significant personnel. And the leadership is, I'm reasonably confident, is completely different at this point. I'm not sure there's that many folks left from before.
so Dan's coming back. He's coming back to his multi-million-dollar empire. Before Dan left, he didn't just have a fledgling podcast. He had literally, you could say arguably, the number one podcast on the airwaves, on the interwebs. You could argue with him and Joe Rogan. Tucker was right there among, in the mix. But basically, it was pretty much him and Joe Rogan. So he left that to go do his duty as a former cop, as a former federal agent. Hey, you know what? God bless him. He was Secret Service agent during Obama years. So more power to him. But during the year, like you just said, if he thought it was going to be a cakewalk, no, not really. Kash Patel, who basically is the FBI director, was the front man. He wasn't going to do it. His hands were not going to get dirty. He was not going to do it. He was wearing pristine white gloves. That's how he handled it. Dan, on the other hand, was doing the dirty work. From what I heard from a number of sources, is that FBI director, deputy director, does the dirty work. They're the ones who are doing the major investigations. They're the ones who are basically have their underlings, basically a derelict, not derelict of duty, but basically, handing out duties and what have you, basically doing all the legwork, while Cash sat back, with pristine white gloves and, looked good in front of the camera. But as we saw during the year with Cash and Dan, wasn't that good? Especially the Epstein debacle. You remember Pam Bondi. I've got Epstein files. They're on my list. They're right there. I got the list. It's on my desk. It's ready for you. It's ready to be exposed for the entire world to see. And then nothing. Remember the social influencers, social media influencers who came out of the White House with those lovely, lovely folders in hand, Epstein folders, written nice, nice and fancy ink and what have you. Yeah, there was nothing in the folders. There was nothing to it. And of course, once they found out that basically all this was shit, they all got pissed. They all, felt that they got taken advantage of, used, abused, and what have you.
You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked. Bamboozled. Led astray. Run amok.
Which is true. So Dan said also that he cleaned house. That there's not that many people left. When him and Cash got there and, took care of business and drained the proverbial FBI and DOJ swamp. No, that's bullshit. Because if that were the case, then Epstein files would have been released. You would have done a lot more, especially when it came to terrorism, counterterrorism, and what have you. And one particular, which I did a long form video of yesterday, about 35 minutes of one Steve Friend, a former FBI agent himself, who was doing the grunt work, the ugliness regarding, pedophile cases and what have you. And he and 9 others whistle blew. They saw the ugliness, they saw how the sausage was made, and decided to confront it, to basically call it out. And it seemed like Cash didn't like it, and neither did Dan. So he got suspended. Then he got reinstated. Then, he got fired. Him and the 9 others got fired for, quote unquote, misconduct, behaving badly. Again, I'm going to call that bullshit. But, so Dan's coming back. Again, he's going to turn the clock back, go back to 2019, 2020, 21, and basically say, I'm here for the people. You know, everybody else, I'm going to go after people. I'm going after everyone. Are you? Are you, Dan? Are you going to go after Kesh Patel? You go to call him out. Which means if you call him out, you're calling Donald Trump out. You're calling J.D. Vance out. Are you really going to do that? Why? There's some things I can't reveal. You know, classified and understand. That's totally understandable, warranted. But there are things you can reveal. So it's going to be very, very interesting when he comes back on the air in February for his 2 hours, his first 2 hour special, first 2 hour podcast. What is he actually going to reveal? And with that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share, subscribe to it. Hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. Continue spreading the word about the show. Appreciate you guys watching as always. And we'll see you next time. Peace.